Hi, my name is Elliot Golan. I'm recording this testimonial for my coach, Steve Hall. Steve and I have been working together for almost 2 years, and it has been a fabulous experience. I started working with Steve after many, many years of lifting and sort of developing knowledge of training and nutrition protocols, but much of that time was spent focusing on strength training and specifically toward competitive powerlifting. So, nearly 2 years ago, when I had decided to transition from powerlifting to bodybuilding, and I was starting to think about a coach for that, Steve really leapt off the page, so to speak. I looked at various folks, a lot of names that anyone watching this would recognize, and Steve really stood out for a number of reasons, most notable being empathy. Steve is a real person, not some omnipotent power that knows everything about bodybuilding and sort of speaks to you as though it was gospel. Steve is a guy that you could have a beer with. And hopefully one day I'll be able to. But what that was for someone like myself was more of a partner than an order giver. I think a lot of times we can look at coaches as people to just tell us what to do. But I don't think that gets you very far. So my experience with Steve has been much more of a partnership than sort of a, boss and employee type relationship that I think these can become sometime. My goals upon signing up with Steve was certainly fat loss, which we had a tremendous run on right out of the gates. Partially because I no longer was trying to optimize my weight class for the sake of, moving maximal weight, but instead now have a long-term goal of competing in bodybuilding. Lastly, what I will say is in finding the right coach, which I believe that I have, the number one thing to keep in mind is the relationship. Steve knows a lot about training and nutrition and can certainly advise on a lot of evidence-based protocols and also things he's learned from many, many years in the trenches. But what really separates Steve, because there are lots of folks that know these things, is who he is as a person, and that empathy and that sort of ability to just converse with people on a personal level. And for that reason, I've been with him almost 2 years and plan to be for the foreseeable future. If you're hesitant about looking for coaching, I'd highly recommend Revive Stronger and specifically Steve Hall.